Hello, everybody. I'm Jared Veluzzi, and joined with me today, Coach James Brady, a QB coach and trainer on Long Island. Coach, thank you for being here.
Jared, thanks for having me, man. Love everything you're doing. Happy to be a part of it.
I appreciate it, and I could say the same to you as well. And of course, it seems like almost every quarterback on Long Island currently is, with you training, getting better. So I have to ask, why'd you start all of this?
Great question. Pretty simple. When I was growing up, all I ever wanted to do was anything and everything quarterback related. Give me a football. I want to learn how to do it, how to play the position. And quite frankly, there was nothing on Long Island. There were no outlets. There was pitching coaches, basketball training, lacrosse training, hitting instructors. Every other thing you'd want to do in sports, you could find it anywhere. There was not one person on Long Island teaching anybody how to do anything quarterback related. So that's at the heart of it. I know how much I loved it and how much I wanted to work at it, and I had imagined other people did too. So I wanted to create a space and an opportunity for any kid who loves the game position as much as I do, create a space for them to put the work in, to learn to love the game, to learn how to, learn the fundamentals, how to play better, and give them a space to pursue their dreams and let them know if they want to, they can.
And back when you were playing, legendary career at St. Anthony's, couple championships. How would you say, quarterbacking from Long Island has evolved when it comes to passing the football back when you were playing to now?
Tremendously. I mean, it kind of it obviously parallels the way the game in general has evolved from the NFL and college, and it trickles down all the way to high school. I mean, it is exponentially grown. I mean, there's really no comparison. When I was playing, the top quarterbacks in Long Island were throwing for 1,200 to 1,600 yards a season, right? And now that's like middle of the pack. That's kind of just where everybody's at. And I really think that's a testament first to the high school coaches. There are a lot of men who have put a lot of time, energy, and effort into learning the game, learning how it's evolved, and are open-minded and are adaptable to what they have on their team. And it's unfortunate sometimes coaches have their system. This is what we do. We're power I, we ground and pound. They could have the best quarterback around and they're not going to change. And I think it's first a testament to the high school coaches evolving. And then second, obviously the boys. What I've been doing this 15 years now, so I have a wide range of spectrum to kind of pull from. And quite honestly, what I've seen and a high school coach that I respect dearly and have a great relationship with and work with his family and his sons shared this with me, which I thought was awesome. What he said was, well, what's happening is boys are in fourth, fifth, sixth grade, spending time in your program, falling in love with playing quarterback. That's their number one thing now, which wasn't the case years ago. It was lacrosse, it was baseball, it was basketball, because there was no outlet. And now, because the quarterback wants to play football and make that number one, now his buddy, who probably would have been going to play lacrosse at Duke, his number one thing is playing wide receiver. And then the other friend, it's just because they have an outlet to take it seriously and take it seriously sooner, it kind of just naturally has the trickle effect to the guys around them. And now you just see the game evolving because so many kids make it their priority at a younger age.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, just like so many of those kids evolving and then playing really well. And with the players that you train, whether you get them from a young age or they come to you a little bit later, how would you describe the relationship that you have with all of them?
Oh, that's tough to put into words. That's the important word, is relationship. These are relationships that are fostered and grown, and that is my priority to any young person now, because we also are working with female flag football players, is developing the relationship. My number one priority anytime a kid enters our program is to let them know I care about them, I'm there for them, and I'm here to support them. Um, and it's not just come to the workout, I see you next week. Part of our program is in terms of instilling accountability and responsibility. They have to ask for their videos every week. If they don't ask, they don't get them. Just put some onus on them. And they have the freedom to text me them doing their work at home, whether it's their mirror drills, working on their motion, footwork in the backyard, whatever it is. They have the freedom to text me as often as they like to get feedback on what they're working on. And more than anything, why we create that space, first, so they're doing the work, but second, so that we are in communication outside of that work setting and can build the relationship. So if I had to just, the only way to put it is everything that we do is built on the relationship that we have with one another as human beings, as one person to another. I like to say we're on the same journey together. We're both learning together. We're both growing together. I never want it to be do what I say because I'm in charge. It's more of, I guess a good way to put it, it's more about, it's more conversational. I do my best to empower them and give them a sense of autonomy for their own process. And I try to be more of a mirror and a guide than do what I say. So I think it's friendship. I say it's a family, it's a brotherhood. And I like to see, I hope I'm serving as more of a friend who's a couple steps ahead than anything else.
That's excellent stuff right there. And one thing that I noticed that you said, along with, all the amazing stuff with forming relationships, you also tapped into helping some of the girls flag football players, which is a new sport on Long
Yeah.
Island that has, really taken the island by storm. It's awesome. I mean, what's that been like recently working with some of those new players?
It's been incredible. Obviously, I love the game of football and how much it's done for me. And I think anybody who can get involved, the more people involved in the game of football, the better. That's my honest opinion because of everything that it encompasses. And I have no other way to put this. There are some female quarterbacks who, quite honestly, just love it more and work harder than a lot of people that we work with. They are all about it. Like, there's been a few where I think they're trying to feel it out. We've had those instances, like they want to see if this is something they might want to do. There's been a few of those kind of experimenting, but for the most part, like these girls show up and they are quarterbacks. They want to be a quarterback, and like this is what they want to do, and it's been impressive. I think the best way to put it is the way they attack it, their willingness to learn, and how much they love it has really been rejuvenating. It's been exciting to see how much they love it and how much they care about it and how much work they put into it. I've been nothing but impressed by any of the females that I've had the opportunity to spend time with.
That's special stuff right there. And whether it's male quarterbacks or female quarterbacks here, when you're training them and giving them advice, what would you say to them, after a bad play or an interception? What's the advice there?
Great question. That is a big part of our training process, is not just learning how to deal with it, but your perception of it kind of on the front end. Because it's a bit of an epidemic in the youth middle school realm, even high school too. Fear of failure and fear of making mistakes. And I think that has a lot to do with social media and a lot of the things that exist now that didn't exist not that long ago. So the mindset in the training space to continually develop is extremely important. And that's something I pride myself on in what we do. So there's a few things that we share. First thing I always say is mistakes are not only okay, they're encouraged. In the training environment, we are there to learn. We are there, I say it a lot, we're here to make all the mistakes. This is where you make all the mistakes so that you can get feedback and learn and grow. So mistakes are not only okay, they're encouraged. And if anyone's listening to this, something I got from a man named Jocko Willink, who's an ex-Navy SEAL, who's big in the mindset and development space. We practice literally, if you make a mistake, if you miss a throw, you literally say out loud, good. When a mistake happens and you perceive it as a good thing because you can learn from it, we're rewiring the mental patterns so that if we make a mistake, good, I'm going to learn from this. And that's all that it is. And so that's something small that we do that I say 1,000 times a day. Good, good, good. Make a mistake, good. So it's a very important part of our process. And another thing too, I like to share with them is in terms of adversity. So interceptions, right? It's an adverse situation. Things don't go our way. Well, something huge I share with everybody. It's not just football, it's life in general. That adversity in any way, shape, or form, it's a gift being given to you to learn and grow from. If you see it that way, adversity being a gift, it creates the space to say, well, what is this here to teach me? What can I learn from this? Rather than slamming our helmet, getting down on ourselves, because that's not going to help moving forward. So make a mistake, good. What is this here to teach me? In a nutshell, that's how we work it. That's how we attack it.
Yeah, and then also, one thing that I've kind of just seen on social media that, you like to preach, and something that I've seen you, put tweets, Instagram, all that stuff is, controlling your mind, confidence, being right, with your mental health and all that. If you could just talk about, all that good stuff.
Sure. So there's actually an online course I'm creating. It's called Cool, Calm, Connected: A Quarterback's Guide to Life and Peak Performance. And essentially, it encompasses everything I've found that goes into becoming the best version of yourself to perform to the best of your abilities in whatever realm that is. And a lot of it, most of it, are answers to problems I had along the same journey that everyone's on now, that I wish I knew, that I didn't know, that it's based off all the mistakes I made, all the missteps, all the things I shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? And it's kind of based around the idea of, you hear a common trait, guys on TV in particular talk about quarterbacks, say they're cool, calm, collected, right? They're relaxed, they're poised, they're under control. And in my opinion, most people see that as like an it factor, like either you have it or you don't. And based off of all my studies and everything I've learned it can be learned, it can be taught, it can be practiced, nurtured, and developed. There's states of being, there's states of mental operation that you can practice and develop. So whether it's being more calm, whether it's being able to be present, direct your focus and attention, to be able to relax, all of these things, being present, focused, confident, and relaxed, no matter what it is you're doing, that state of being, present, focused, confident, relaxed, fully immersed in the task at hand, is what will help you do the best, perform the best, whatever it is that you're doing. So that's a big area of focus for us, is teaching the athletes, quarterbacks, learning how to be present. And that's by focusing on connecting to the breath, noticing when the mind is thinking past and future and this and that and this and that, being able to connect to the breath and just be here now. This is all we have in control, is what right in front of us. So presence, focus, being able to direct attention and concentration. I see mass numbers of youth athletes. They're incessantly distracted. And it's the phones. I mean, technology, in my opinion. They're overstimulated and incessantly distracted. No fault of their own, but they just find it very hard to stand still for 30 seconds and listen to a coaching point. It's hard for them. So learning how to focus, and that's where meditation comes in. Meditation is simply the practice of focusing on your breath or anything. Focus on something. Notice when your attention drifts, redirect it back to your focus point. It's practicing focus. So we work about presence, focus, confidence, their belief in themselves. This is where we say like self-talk. My take on confidence is your belief in your ability to get something done, right? And my opinion about beliefs is a belief is simply a thought you consistently think. Does that make sense? So now the thoughts we're allowing ourselves to consistently think will determine what we feel and believe about ourselves. So we have to be intentional with the self-talk and what we're saying about ourselves. So that's where the being aware of how the voice in our head is behaving. If it's not something that's constructive and adds value to how you feel about yourself, choosing to think something else instead. And that's something, again, meditation is a practice of noticing how your thoughts are behaving and redirect and focus attention. And that, so it's presence, focus, confidence, and then being able to relax, especially when throwing the football. We need to be as relaxed as possible so the energy flows through our body out through the ball. And consistently, or too consistently in the youth sports, middle school, high school world right now, kids are anxious, nervous, and stressed. There's no other way to put it. So if we're anxious, nervous, and stressed, we're not going to be relaxed and playing well. So it's to do a simple practice with them of it's called like a body scan. You just breathe in and you just scan in through your body, noticing where you're holding on to any tension. And the way I put it is when we say relax, relax literally means release the tension. Notice tension in your jaw, shoulders, and just allow it to soften. And if you just, and you can do it 100 times a day. If you check in with yourself, hey, I'm just a little tight up here. I breathe into it. I soften. I'm practicing relaxing. So now I'm on the game field. I'm more relaxed, more present, more confident, and I play better.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And then when you've, trained a lot of these guys, some of them, I mean, they're on their way to graduating. The 2024 class was legendary here when it came to quarterbacks on Long Island. It just felt like there's so many of them. With a lot of those guys, seeing their character development from, when you started to now, I mean, how amazing is it?
Oh man. I don't think there's a word that exists that encompasses how incredible and amazing it is to see the young men they've turned themselves into. Because a lot of them, I met them in fourth and fifth grade. I've known them since they're children, and all of them. I'm not kidding. I'm not. I don't want to embarrass anybody, but certain kid crying out on the field because they made a mistake. Other kids cursing at themselves about things, and uh, the whole spectrum. Think about all the things that happen in your life from when you're in fourth grade to senior year in high school. The broad range of emotions and experiences, and I've been right there with them through all of it. And to see how they've learned and applied what I've just believe in so deeply in terms of being a good person and being of service to other people and being accountable to yourself and all of these things that we talk about, to see it in literal human form. I said it to one of the guys the other day. You have completely exceeded my expectations of what I thought the quarterback looks like. Like you've completely redefined what it means to set the standard and be the example. Like you did it. Like you're living, breathing example. Again, I don't know if you could tell with the passion in my voice.
Mhm.
There's no word to describe what it looks like to see them. Sorry, I'm even getting choked up. Little kids to these men that are leaders of men and are going to quite literally change the world for the better is there's no word for it.
Yeah, I mean, it was evident all season long, and then two of the guys you trained maybe had one of the greatest high school football games ever
No,
against each other.
yeah.
Joe Filardi, Braden Stall. I think between them in just one game, it was like a combined 17 touchdowns, almost 1,000 total yards. I mean, watching that game, I mean, how'd it feel?
All the emotions, right? Like incredible. I mean, to see what we work so hard at expressed so gracefully and beautifully on the field so flawlessly, like is the only way to put it is, I mean, it was just a first for them to not couldn't be happier for them to go through that experience and play in that football game. It'll go down as probably the craziest football game ever to be played on Long Island. The best two quarterbacks performance head to head ever. They're part of history, literally. But from the, in my seat, being involved in their process and their journey, I can't help but take an extreme sense of pride and joy in knowing that I had a small role in helping them do what they just did out there. Because they're the ones who did it, and it's their process, it's their journey. But to be in some small part of that, the historic part of football and Long Island, and see the way they did it was magical, I think is the only way to put it.
And another guy that I'm gonna get to talk to who worked with you was Caden West. And before his senior year, Comswag had, I believe, one winning season in 12 years.
Yeah.
He injured his junior season, and then he comes out. Now he's committed to Wingate, I believe, leads Comswag to a winning season. I mean, his senior season, pretty special.
Special season for a special person, is the only way I can put it. Another one that I think Caden and I met when he was in 5th grade, going into 6th grade. And I just couldn't be happier for him because of how important football is to him. And I know he had opportunities to go elsewhere, and he chose to stay at Comswag to be with his friends that he grew up playing with. So especially in today's society where the transfer portal and everybody's bouncing around, for a guy of his caliber with the opportunities that he had, to make the decision solely on loyalty to his friends and to his community and to his coaches to create the best possible senior season for them. I mean, that speaks louder volumes than anything. Obviously he played incredible, had a great year. But I think that's something behind it that a lot of people don't know and don't realize, is that, and his stats might not show it because the system that they're in, and nothing against it, they run a good system, of successful. I mean, he's in any of these other offenses, that are throwing the ball 40, 50 times a game, he's putting up the same, if not more numbers. Mm-hmm. So if anybody knows the name and is like, well, he only threw the ball X amount, it's like, look, this kid has got the goods. He's special from just quarterback talent. But I want to make clear, what is most special is that he could have gone somewhere to throw the ball 50 times a game and accentuate his skill set differently. And he chose to stay where he's at because of how loyal he is and how important his friends are and his community is to him. And so then to see it have the winning season and get to the playoffs, and even more special.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. All those guys played well, and I can't wait to see, the young guys that you're training, what they do when they come up. And I mean, this season, all in all, was special. But Coach, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jared. Sorry for some long-winded answers, but I hope we gave some good stuff there. Thank you for the opportunity, man. Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah,
thank you for all you do. You're what you're doing for these boys, and for the game of football in New York, on Long Island. We've needed somebody, and you're carrying the sword. So I appreciate the work you're doing for these guys, man. It means a lot.
Thank you. Same goes to you. I appreciate it, Coach. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. Have a good one.